trees, and it's all up to you, but that's the way it is, huh?
Thank you.
All right. Let me ask you young guys a question. This one here. Let me ask you a question to start with. What is the difference between a miner and a prospector?
I don't know.
Well, that's a good start. Okay, I'll tell you. A miner and a prospector. There is a big difference. A prospector is an old geezer like me, usually had a big beard, was dirty because he hadn't bathed in a year, and he had a jackass with all his personal belongings on that thing, and he roamed all over these hills looking for ore bodies, or what you probably call gold or silver. Okay, that's what he would do. And you can go all over these hills. I've been all over here, and you'll find a mine shaft all over the place. So you look at some of them that are way out in the middle of nowhere, you think, how in the world did they ever find that? Some old prospector roaming around with his jackass found it. When they find it, and they dig around and they find if they can find some gold or silver in it, they take it and they take it into an assay office and they have it assayed to see how much value it is. If it's valuable, they will go stake a claim. Most prospectors never had a dollar to their name past payday, whatever payday was today. So what they would do is they would take and sell their claim to a mining company. The mining company would then hire miners or men that would go in and dig it out. They're called miners. So that's the difference between a miner and a prospector. So this was found here by a prospector originally, not the building here, but the mine claim itself. We are sitting in the middle of 5 mining towns.
Oh.
So if you look back over here, the hill that's dark with the trees on it, there's a canyon that runs just the side of it, goes down to a place called Grantsville. Had about 1,000 people lived there at one time. I've seen pictures of that town when it was going, and it just looked like a big city. There's still some buildings there. The mine, some of the mill parts of stuff still there. Lots of mine shafts around that area. Then the next one is this canyon that you drive up here going up to the Fossil House. That's called Union Canyon, and there was a town there called Unionville. It only housed about 100 to 150 people, but it was before Berlin. Then on the other side, you've got Ione over here, which is 6 miles away. Anybody been down there yet? Ione? Before. You have? Okay. That's what I call a living ghost town. There's still some people that live there. My friends John and his wife Norma live there. They've been there 47 years. And there's some people that have summer cabins and stuff there. So there's the old and the new in that one. Then you go across the valley over into the trees over the other side up there's a place called Ellsworth. That's another interesting little town. It was not big. It was about the size of Union. But it has a real deep water supply there. You can still go there today. We go there and have picnics. But there's a pipe comes out of the ground, dumps beautiful cold spring water. Real sweet. Dumps it into a big tank. And if there's nobody around, it's a good place on a hot day to take a bath. But that's on the other side. Then the old prospector come through and he found an ore body sticking out of the ground up here. An ore body, what I was talking about there, is something like this here. Quartz that sticks up out of the ground. Big chunks of it. And he found that, and this comes from this mine here. It's got some silver in it. And he found it, and he staked a claim on it, dug up. He took some of it down, had it assayed, and it assayed real good, really good. So, knowing that he didn't have any money to develop it, he contacted the Nevada Mining Company, which is owned by Mr. Stokes from back east. If you've ever been to Austin, there's a place called Stokes Castle. That's Mr. Stokes. So anyway, he bought the claim from him. He come out here and he looked at all this and he said, that's rich enough for we can develop and make a little town site here, put in our own mill. And there was a mill about 4 miles from here called Knickerbocker's. It was a 20 stamp mill. And all they did was just process ore. They didn't do any mining, they just processed the ore there. It's a very interesting place if you can get up there, but you don't wanna go up with a car. It's pretty washed down. It is part of the state park system, though, by the way. And we're trying to talk them into maintaining the road, but so far the governor hasn't given us approval on that. But anyhow, he had that, so Mr. Stokes looked at the whole thing and saw everybody bringing all this stuff over to him. He said, I want that business, so he bought Knickerbocker out, took the stamp mill down and brought it over here, set it up here, which is right in the middle of everything, and put it in here and added 10 more stamps in here and made a 30 stamp mill here. That took place in 1896. He completed it and went into operation in 1897. It lasted for 13 years. The town existed for 13 years. He put a town in here, had a general store, was a doctor here. There was different professions here, woodcutters and stuff like that lived here. He rented some of the houses out. You couldn't have any alcohol inside the town limits. So there was a couple of saloons over time at that end outside the town and a couple at this end outside of town. There was a boarding house at that end and one at this end, and the one at that end did most of the business, and that's where Miss Kitty, one, lived there, and she was only busy on paydays. And she went across the gully to the saloon there. So.
PG. Keep it PG. Keep it PG.
Yeah, right. I collect a lot of old memorabilia from the old days, and I have a license for prostitution for a young lady signed in 1876 by Marshall Wyatt Earp.
Wow.
So I got it in a plaque. I keep it at home and sign it. So I always get a kick out of that. And okay, back to the mill here. The mine is actually up behind the hill up here. You'll see as you were walking around the big piles of gravel out here, that's just trash rock, or what they call overburden. It's stuff that you got to get out of the way to get to the ore body. It has no value, so they just take and dump it someplace. On top up here is a flat spot where they had a track and a rail for an ore cart, and they would wheel it around, and you look in the back here, you'll see a bridge coming across way up to where that light is at the very top up there, the open windows. They had a rock crusher up there. That rock crusher would take the ore and bust it down. It's break down quite small. Then it would come across a conveyor belt at the top. And what you're seeing, all that wood that's laying crosswise in here, is a giant bunker, rock bunker that would hold the crushed rock. And all the way across. There was 6 of these bays here. There's 2, an empty one, 2, an empty one, and 2, where the stamps were. The rocks would then come down out of that there, and you could see a chute coming out of that over there in the corner, up there. There was a chute that dumped in behind each of the stamps. Dumped in, and that way they could crush it. Now if you come over here, I'll show you how that stamp works. Oops, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's the cam.
Oh, thank you. At least, yes.
This is so big.
Okay, are you pretty strong? Okay, come here. Would you pick this up and stand it up for me like that one is up there?
Go, Kenji.
No? Okay, well, you're a smart boy. Smarter than you look. Okay, this is a stamp, guys. This bottom piece right here is two pieces. This piece can be replaced. This piece stays on, and it's part of this long shaft. This piece and this piece together weigh about 200 pounds. The bottom of this is concaved, so it goes in like that. If it were flat, when this comes down, and this, by the way, is a foot, what they call a foot, so the rock gets on here, this comes down and smashes between the two pieces of steel.
Oh,
If
okay.
this were flat, when it hit this, it would shoot the rock out the side. Being concaved, it shoots the rock up, so it keeps it in place, and they can keep on crunching it down until they get it fine like that. Now, this shaft is solid steel. This collar is solid steel. So all of this together weighs about 300 pounds. Now there's 5 of those sitting right there. That's what you see up there. It's called a 5-bank stamp system. You see them there? Okay. They go up and down. They're powered by this camshaft right here. Now because these weigh about 300 pounds, you got 5 of those, it's about 1,500 pounds. That would take a lot of power to lift all 5 of them at the same time. So they offset these, so one's picking up, one's dropping. It just keeps going around and just picks it up, bang, 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 bang. Not real fast, but steady, but extremely noisy. So you can imagine if you got 30 of those going at the same time, you can understand why a lot of the miners went deaf.
Yeah.
Huh? What? Uh-huh. Yeah, it's real strong. That's steel, solid steel. Pretty good, huh? Okay. These are powered by this unit right here. This whole unit mounted, and I forgot my, I got a laser I can show you. But if you look at the stamps there, you look way up on the pipe, you see the collars across there? Okay, right below the collars on each post there is an indentation. That was mounted right in there so it would work underneath of those collars there. See what I'm talking about there? Yeah, so that was, and
Oh, yeah.
each one of those had a cross, and they were set up in such a way that they could stop each 5-bank system individually. So they didn't have to shut the whole mill down. When they were all running, anywhere you come into the valley, they say from anywhere, when you break over the hill, you could hear the mill running. That's how noisy it was. That would go up and down, and then behind that, they got water right in there, and it fills that thing up, so it's not just busting in the dust, it's actually busting in water. And then the small pieces work down to what they call amalgamation table. There's 6 of those big tables full of water and chemical, mostly mercury. They're below that, and all that fine particles goes into that, is processed through there. Then they take it down and they bring it over and they put it on all the roofing off, all the siding. Of course, it didn't have the plywood then, it had just regular siding. Just destroyed everything. When they made this a park in 1970, the park had the forethought to insure all the buildings. So because it was insured, they built it back, put it back. That's why you see plywood, and new lumber and stuff. They used as much of the original as they could, that they could salvage, and the rest has been replaced. But it costs about $1 million to put this back up.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Any questions? It was quite an operation. Can we walk over by the fence? Pardon? Can we walk over by the fence? No, we can't go any higher than this. Like a insurance says no.
I'm sure this is, we're not paying you $1 million.